Buhari filed. He again went to the Supreme Court, but the apex court delivered a judgment that validated the tribunal's earlier ruling. Fast forward to 2007, we saw that Omar Musa Yaradua versus Muhammadu Buhari and Atiku Abubakar, where Yaradua won a highly controversial presidential election. Local and international observers said the election failed to meet international standards. So Buhari and Atiku challenged the election at the Supreme Court, which eventually upheld Yar'Adua's election into office as president. And in 2011, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan versus Muhammadu Buhari, where Jonathan was announced the winner, but the defeated parties rejected the results. Buhari challenged Jonathan's victory, but the Supreme Court dismissed his appeal and affirmed an earlier decision by the Court of Appeal, which upheld Jonathan's victory. In 2019, the election preceding the 2023 election, we saw petitions tribunal issue between Muhammadu Buhari and Atiku Abubakar, where in the 2019 presidential election, the main contenders, of course, are APC and the PDP, where Buhari won the election with 15.2 million votes, while Atiku polled 11.3 million votes. Atiku and the PDP, however, challenged the result of the election at the Election Petition Tribunal, and they claimed that the election was marred by irregularities, by violence and rigging. And on September 2019, the tribunal dismissed Atiku's petition and upheld Buhari's victory. Now in 2023, Bola Ahmed Tinubu versus Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar, where Atiku rejected the outcome of the election and claimed it was the worst election since Nigeria's return to democracy in 1999. He led a protest to INEC's headquarters in Abuja, and his legal team filed a suit against INEC at the appeal court. Peter Obi also rejected the result and filed a petition challenging the declaration of Tinubu as the winner of the February 25th presidential election. It is worthy to note that the party in power has won on election petitions that followed the presidential elections since 1999. But still, reports or data rather from that non-governmental organization on the 1,044 petitions filed based on geopolitical zones. 301 petitions were filed in the South-South, 187 petitions in the Southeast, which is the second highest, 166 in the Southwest, 149 in the North Central, 124 in the Northwest, and 106 in the Northeast. And that platform also showed that 883 petitions were filed on the grounds of non-compliance and corrupt practices, and about 532 of it were filed against candidates elected without a majority of the lawful votes cast. The other 279 petitions against candidates elected were on the grounds that the candidates were not qualified to contest the elections. So this morning, this is what our conversation will be centered on, and we have our guest, legal practitioner, join us this morning. Hopefully, to do justice to the conversation. Good morning, Barrister Ogbe. Nice to have you on the program.
I appreciate it. Good morning.
All right, let's start the conversation with the data that I reeled out. 1,044 petitions arising from the just concluded 2023 elections. In 2019, there was over 800 number of petitions challenging the various results. I recall that I think 4 of them were for the presidential election. Researchers will tell you that the higher the number of petitions filed in an election, the more that election is negatively perceived. What are your thoughts? You share same realities?
I don't actually agree with that particular stance.
Okay.
Rather, I think that the higher the outcome of an election is being challenged, then there is a presumption that maybe the law that regulates the conduct of that election has given an opportunity for those who don't feel comfortable with the outcome of that election to challenge the outcome. That's what I feel. Because election petition is sui generis. It's a special kind of litigation. And it's not all about filing an election petition, but also being able to prove same in accordance with the law. So if you have a situation whereby there's an increase in the number of persons who have approached the court of law to seek redress, in my opinion, it has to do with the fact that maybe on the face of it, that the law seems to be strong, and then prima facie that law seems to have been violated, and then individuals affected by the violation of that particular law believe that they will have an opportunity to assert their rights. Unlike a situation whereby even if there's violation of that particular law, but the facilities in place or the law in place has made it difficult for such individuals to assert their rights, then many persons may not be tempted to approach a court of law. And interestingly, let me even raise an issue. Before now, in 2019, security for cost in filing an election petition was 400,000 naira. Okay. The reason behind this particular development, in the wisdom of the court, has to do with the desire to prevent unserious, in quotes, unserious candidates from approaching the tribunal to ventilate their grievances. I use the expression in quote because personally I'm not comfortable with that particular development, because it infringes the right of access to court. You don't prevent people from ventilating their grievances, even members, even Nigerians who are of the smaller or up and coming political parties, by using pecuniary consideration to prevent them from doing same. But interestingly, in the ongoing election petition, security for cost has now been increased to 1 million naira. Yet many people this time around still file petitions to assert their rights. And I think this is also coming on the heels of the nature of the election that was conducted. Because using Enugu State as an example, you agree with me that on the face of it, the number of petitions filed in Enugu this time around has increased, unlike what used to be the case in time past. And the reason is not far to seek. Why? Members of the ruling party in Enugu State presently, many of them have also filed petitions, unlike what used to be the case in time past, when basically they used to be the respondents. But in Enugu now, we now have a situation whereby I have members of the Labour Party filing petitions, and you also have members of the PDP filing petitions, and you also have members of other political parties filing petitions. Unlike what used to be the case in time past, when basically it was a one-way traffic, in which case members of the ruling party used to be the respondents alongside INEC. So I don't think that particular stance taken by that particular establishment is backed up by any empirical evidence. I think the explanation I just gave may be the reason behind this particular development, in which there is increase in number of petitions that have been filed so far, despite the encumbrances that ordinarily was placed on the way of aggrieved litigants in terms of a pecuniary consideration, in which aggrieved litigants are expected to deposit 1 million naira minimum, as security for costs. You are not even talking about the money you pay your lawyer and the money that will be involved in even filing the petition itself, because to file an election petition is quite expensive.
All right, so would you say that this fine is particularly for the 2023 elections, or going forward, there could be adjustments made?
You are saying what I say is fine for 20?
Yes, you said it was formerly 400,000 naira.
Exactly.
But since the emergence of the people at the courts for the 2023 election was increased to 1 million naira.
Yes.
So I'm saying over time, we still have elections conducted of people ending up in the courts. Are you saying that there are tendencies that the higher the number of petitions, the higher the amount of security fees being paid?
There is no correlation. The issue of the amount of money to be deposited as security for cost is at the discretion of the judge.
Okay.
In fact, that area of law is still contentious, in the sense that if you take a look at the Electoral Act, by my own understanding, it is the tribunal chairman that will determine how much that is to be fixed as the security for cost. I agree, the president of the Court of Appeal is empowered, to appoint those subject to provisions of the law to act as tribunal chairman. Tribunal chairman, rather, those that act as chairman. But the same Electoral Act provides that the tribunal shall, by order made, stipulate how much to be paid. But what you normally witness is a situation whereby the president of the Court of Appeal, by a single swoop, normally stipulates how much that is to be paid. The minimum amount has been stipulated. It should not be below 5,000 naira. Now, but it should not be below 5,000 naira, but the amount is left at the discretion of the judge. Now, having said that, I wouldn't really think that the issue of the number of persons who file petition at a given point in time will determine whether the money will be increased in due course. And as I said earlier, I'm not comfortable with this idea of preventing people from approaching the court because of pecuniary consideration. Because you are still really trying to impose on us what some of us are fighting, that politics should not be commercialized. You shouldn't prevent people from, asserting their political rights because of their financial standing in the society. Now, if you are making it a condition, a precedent that one must deposit at least 1 million naira before one can file a petition, you are no longer taking a look at the facts, the merit of a given a petition, knowing full well that there may be a citizen who is not all that well to do financially, but who has a good case, and you prevent the person from approaching a court of law, and you are indirectly even encouraging corruption. You know, because you should ask yourself where these people get this money from after they must have spent. Now, from what is even playing out, it is now clear that that money, to a great extent, is also not preventing people, those who want to approach the courts, from doing that.
No, but if you say the money is exorbitant, these are people that put for nomination forms and expression of interest forms.
Yes, of course, it does not make it right. Okay. In fact, this issue is now even becoming interwoven in the sense that those who aspire to occupy political offices are those who claim to be coming forward to serve the people. Now, it is strange that those who are coming forward to serve the people are now being expected to pay huge amount of money for them to do that. If you find a situation whereby people are told to pay 50 million naira, 20 million naira to purchase nomination form to become governors. So on the face of it, you are trying to encourage corruption. Now, when you are done with the political parties, you now come to judiciary. Now, people feel aggrieved with the outcome of an election. And you are not telling them that they have to deposit at least 1 million naira as security for cost before they file their petition. On the face of it, some will argue that this security for cost is to discourage frivolous petitions. But there are means through which the court can also checkmate frivolous petitions. Court can award cost and even compel you to pay it. You know, if you file a frivolous petition and at the end of the day, the court on the face of it discover that this petition on the face of it happens to be a frivolous petition, court can award very punitive cost against you. But making that particular a condition precedent, you are trying to also encourage corruption the same way many political parties are doing same. So, and you know, politicians in their desperation, because I can tell you as a matter of fact that some of the persons who went to tribunal didn't actually go there to assert any right. It's an avenue to make money. I can tell you that emphatically.
How is that so?
Some persons approach the tribunal so that when they approach the tribunal and make little noise, make some noise, then maybe those who are declared winners in that election will now call them for settlement. And that's why if you take a look at the Electoral Act, the Electoral Act provides that before you withdraw any petition, you must depose to an affidavit stipulating that there was no form of compromise before withdrawing that petition. And this particular development is a novel one. I think it's also contained in the now repealed Electoral Act, because I know in some petitions we've had in time past, that particular issue, the issue of a withdrawal of petitions, came up. So what some persons normally do is that some business politicians, they wouldn't mind raising that money from wherever. That security for cost. They will raise the money. They will deposit that security for cost. And then automatically at the end of the day, they will end up achieving the same nefarious desire of theirs. And this indirectly is trying to frustrate those who are to an extent decent-minded, those who don't actually want to use that platform to make money, so to speak. So as you can see, despite that amount of money, if you like, increase it to 5 million naira, most conventional politicians will still pay that money. But you are talking about those who actually want to do the right thing, those who are actually in the business of politics, basically for the purpose of serving the electorate.
All right, and this is a critical test for the body responsible for the election petitions, that's the judiciary. No doubt, all eyes are on the judiciary. Everyone wants to know the outcome or the processes involved in the election petitions. I know the judiciary is an independent arm, but what does this mean for the judiciary to terminate this?
Is it generally for the election petition?
Yeah, generally for the election petitions.
Election petition is actually a very difficult area of law, both for members of the bench and the bar. When I mean bench and bar, bench, I'm referring to the judges, and then the bar, the lawyers that will handle the petition, and even the other stakeholders being the candidates and INEC as a party. And I can bet you, no matter the outcome of any given case, there are those who must be happy and those who will not be who will not be happy with the outcome of that particular decision, irrespective of whether there was interference in the course of adjudication, or that the judgment delivered was done in accordance with the principles of law, devoid of any form of interference or devoid of any form of illegality. Because there is this belief that once you talk about the election petition, that it must be influenced one way or the other. I am not here this morning to defend the judiciary as an arm of government. It's a well-known fact that the judiciary, just like most other establishments in Nigeria, is battling with the malaise of corruption. That's not the topic for discussion this morning. But we should appreciate one thing, that election petition is not just about going to election, not just about going to the tribunal, election tribunal. It's all about proving your case. The law has to do with the evidence. And I can tell you, I've glanced through some of the petitions filed by, at least by some stakeholders here in the Enugu State, and some interesting issues are being raised in some of those petitions that have been filed so far. So there's a way, both governorship and state house of assembly, even national assembly elections, many interesting issues have been raised by the various parties that file petitions, you know, and it's the same across the country. So what am I trying to say? It's a Herculean task for the judiciary. Most importantly, election petitions are time-bound. As we know, the matter must be concluded within a space of 180 days from the day of filing. Of course, and in my going by what normally obtains in real life scenario, the 180 days we start counting from the day the last petition was filed. But you know, the last petition was filed on or before 21 days from the day the return was made. Why it normally happens that way is that if there are more than one petitions, if there are about 2 or 3 petitions, the tribunal at times will consolidate those petitions, in which case they will now start counting from the day the last petition was filed. So no matter the enormity of the case of the petitioner in this case, the tribunal must conclude each sitting and deliver judgment in writing within 180 days. And upon delivering judgment, any party not satisfied with the outcome of the election has 21 days to appeal, you know, and then the appellate court has 60 days to make a final pronouncement on that, giving a relative period of 240 days, excluding the 21 days time frame within which the person is expected to appeal the judgment of the tribunal or court of appeal in the case of a presidential election. So having said that, it's going to be a very busy one for the judiciary, for members of the bench who are going to preside over these cases. And you know, many Nigerians, all eyes are on them. And you know, as I said earlier, irrespective of the outcome of this of these cases, many Nigerians definitely will either be happy or unhappy. But what matters in life and as a judge is for you to do justice before God and man. Because just like at times when some of us come here, there are things we say here at times. When we say them, some people don't tend to be happy with us. But I've said it before, that it doesn't matter to a great extent how you feel about me, for instance. I say what I reasonably believe is true. I mustn't always be right. Nobody is infallible. What am I trying to say? As a judge, what is important is for you to look at the law. Because sentiment has no place in law. You look at the law, number one. Number two, if you want to do the right thing, don't be influenced by any man, either by pecuniary consideration or by any other factor whatsoever. Then do what is right. Once you do that, don't accord much attention to whatever anybody will say about issues of sentiment or emotions. Because I can tell you, I wouldn't want to make some prejudicial comments that I've looked at some petitions, and an average lawyer will tell you that so and so issue will not fly. Because the law is very clear on that. We are talking about the grounds upon which an election petition is to be filed. Apart from these 3 basic grounds upon which an election petition is to be filed, one may lose one's election based on technicalities, and those technicalities are recognized by law. Yes, we have, if you're talking about law and equity, there's what we call equity. Equity also forms part of our justice system. But law is the one as known, as ought to be. Equity at times is trying to bring in good conscience. So if you're talking about technicalities, a lawyer is also expected to comply with the law. Election petition is very, very technical. That's why we have specialists in that particular field. Like here in Enugu, we know some lawyers, whenever you find an election petition, there are some names you normally expect to appear in such petitions because they are conversant with the intricacies of election petition. It's not about being maybe an experienced lawyer. Maybe an experienced lawyer, yet you may not know the intricacies of election petition. Just like landlord-tenant matter. If you don't know it, you don't know it. You may be a very intelligent lawyer, yet if you don't know the tricks, you cannot handle it. So that's just it. So, and it boils down to the clamor being made by some persons that the election petition, that the proceedings should be streamed live. Maybe I may not delve into that, but if you should ask me, my personal opinion, I don't think it is wise or right to even stream the proceedings of that particular system live. In the first instance, let's start from the legal point of view. The law does not make provision that the proceedings of a court in Nigeria must be streamed live. If you look at the Nigerian Constitution, it provides that, you know, legal proceedings must be conducted in public. And if you should accord larger interpretation to that particular expression, one may argue that it also amounts to conducting a case in public by having such proceedings streamed live. but we will not go into that. But the issue, the Constitution did not expressly provide for that to be done. What the Constitution envisages is that any proceedings being conducted should be available to members of the public, in which case you are free to enter into a court of law, comport yourself, dress well, switch off your phone, and subject to the availability of space, you monitor the proceedings. Likewise, media men, journalists are required, or rather authorized by law, to make fair comments on judicial proceedings. In other words, you don't make any contemptuous comments. You don't make any publication that will tend to foist a state of helplessness on the judges, trying to force them to accept a particular line of approach based on opinion being expressed in your articles. That's why, as a journalist, for instance, you just make a report of what transpired in court, that in today's proceedings so and so thing happened. Now imagine what will happen in a situation whereby the proceedings of the election petition is streamed live and Nigerians watch those proceedings live. Normal Nigerians watch, the average Nigerian citizen will be allowed to watch those proceedings live. Believe you me, the comments that be going on social media platform and other platforms will make it difficult for those judges to do their work in a dispassionate manner.
But one would say that the calls for the live coverage of the election petition is for transparency sake, especially judging from the conduct and the outcome of the 2023.
The transparency, the lawyers are there, lawyers for all the parties are there, journalists are there, citizens who want, even the candidates who vie for election, who are they have the right to appear there, and their representatives, even other members of the public. But the fear, why I'm not comfortable with the idea of having this thing stream live is this. No matter whether you're happy what I'm saying or not, is this. Once that proceeding is streamed live, people will be making comments.
And that could affect the verdict.
Not can, it must. The judges will be in trouble. Because if you go about it this way, they'll say, if you go about it this way, people will be commenting, and those comments will be indirectly forcing a state of helplessness on the courts. It will be contemptuous. Forget about the grammar of being contemptuous. A judge is expected to do his or her work without being placed under any form of subtle pressure by anybody whatsoever. That's why they don't even, the law, not even there, the law does not allow journalists to make any far-reaching comments on the proceedings of a court. For instance, if a journalist is allowed to say that maybe that the judge used the harsh words on counsel to the petitioner, and you report it and make other comments, despite being made by a journalist, the masses will start reacting that finally that this particular judge is biased, that they said it, that is biased. The law is that if a lawyer feels that a judge has, handled him in a manner not authorized by law, that judge even has the power, the lawyer has the powers to protest in accordance with the law, that allegation of bias could be raised against the judge, subject to the provisions laid down by law. But if you should allow Nigerians to now become judge while the matter is pending, there must be undue influence on those judges, because it's not like an election. So what is important for a judge is your conscience between you and God Almighty. That's number one. Because whenever a person loses a case, the normal conclusion most of us normally draw is that the judge has been bought over. It doesn't work that way. And let me say categorically, just like every other lawyer, I have won cases, I have lost cases. There are some cases, whenever I lose them, I'll say, no, I don't agree with this judgment. I'll go on appeal. Even as lawyers, there are some judgments we will see, like what happened in a Borno State, the Machina case. We are like, no, this is a strange judgment. When I mean strange, you understand what I mean. But allowing the proceedings of a sensitive case of this nature, politically inclined case, if, for instance, it's a murder case, for instance, of course, the public will be interested in it, but it will not generate much controversy as it will here in this political case. Already, people have already made up their mind on the line of action they expect these cases to go. And once anything happens to the contrary, some people will believe that the judges are being compromised. For instance, this controversial interpretation of section, this of the Constitution, and FCT, even lawyers, many people have taken their position. In fact, there was a day I was with some of my colleagues somewhere. I made my position known. And one lawyer said it's because you are corrupt. I told him Ogbe is not corrupt because Ogbe has said what you don't like. And one of my colleagues also said that if I'm also to be a judge, the same position Ogbe took, that's the position I will take. He now said that both of us. I said, why won't we be corrupt? We have said what you don't want to hear now. We will only be upright men if we say the one you like. We will not become upright men. So what is important in the work of a judge? Number one, between you and God. Number two, what the law says. Once you do that, don't care about whatever, because no matter what you do in this petition, people must talk. But the law is very clear. The Electoral Act is very clear on the grounds to challenge the election. The law is clear on the duty incumbent on the petitioner. Interestingly, the Electoral Act has even made the work of the petitioner to a great extent easy now, because the current Electoral Act provides that if there are documents available, either the original or certified true copies of documents available to be used by a party in proving a case, you don't need to call oral evidence. So it has made the work of the petitioners easier this time around, unlike what used to be the case in time past. Yet, as a petitioner, you have to prove your case in accordance with the law. And again, you have to take a look at the law to know if that case you are proving is in tandem with the law. For you, for you to seek relief based on the 3 grounds upon which an election petition could be filed. So having said that, there are things I don't like shying away from. I know some person may have a lot to shy away from it. Personally, I've been asked this question. I don't support that idea because it's a politically inclined case. The judges will be bullied on social media.
All right, but how fast can this process be? Because the countdown has begun. 180 days is what we're talking about here. Are there possibilities that some petition tribunals won't meet up to this deadline?
They don't have any option. They must comply. It's a mandatory requirement of the law. The only thing is that there's a stage you may get to. They may even be compelled to start sitting on public holidays and even on weekends in order to beat the deadline. Okay. So it's not at their discretion. And it's even good. As we evolve as a nation, there are, even in our legal jurisprudence, there are some issues. As we evolve, we tend to touch certain things, because before now, like during the Peter Obi era, Obi was roughly in court for roughly 3 years. So what some people used to do in time past, that they will maybe perpetrate electoral malpractice, go to court, and then embark on all sorts of delay tactics, and then stay for a longer period of time in office before the tribunal eventually deliver judgment one way or the other. That's the wisdom behind these new innovations, that constitutional innovations, that election petitions must be concluded. It's not at the discretion. Whatever. That's why nobody forces you as a judge to indicate interest, to be part of that particular, to be part of an election petition. To a great extent, it's at your discretion, because the president of the Court of Appeal has powers to appoint, subject to his interfacing with either the chief judge of the state, or the Grand Cadi of the customary Sharia Court of Appeal, or the president of the customary Court of Appeal of a state.
Okay. Some say this election season is going to the administration of justice across board. One of the challenges, or I would say one of the questions, is the fact that all senior lawyers, they seem busy with these election petition cases, and there is no room for handling of other cases. There seems to be they seem to be surrounding themselves with these election petition cases, and they are worried as to overaid the court to be occupied with these election petition cases and keep the other cases aside. Questions emanating as to if justice will also be served to other cases that are not election petition cases.
I'm happy you are raising this issue. This is part of the problem we're having with our justice system. That of lawyers is even a lesser problem, because a case ordinarily cannot be stored in the absence of a senior lawyer. Most senior lawyers have other colleagues in their offices who can assist them in handling cases, even though there are some sensitive cases that some senior lawyers love handling personally. But having said that, the problem basically has to do with the absence of judges, because some of these judges, of course, automatically, once they go for their tribunal listing, all the cases in their courts will be stalled, and there's nothing they can do about it.
And would that be an end to those cases?
No. When they return, when they return from their tribunal listing, the cases will continue. Okay. But at least, the more than 80 days that they'll be absent, of course, it will affect a whole lot of things, especially with regard to cases pending in their courts. But with regard to cases pending in other courts that the judges are not, or judges or chief magistrates, because a chief magistrate is also qualified to be a member of an election petition. Those ones will proceed. But definitely, those courts where the amount will be affected, the cases pending in those courts will be affected. Right, and this is part of factors that are giving rise to delays in the prosecution of cases. And there are many later of these challenges. When they come back now, before you know it, you go for December break. I don't have to blame them. In fact, their work is very, very onerous. I'm not trying to hold brief for them, but that's the reality. Of course, on the other hand, you may assert that no one forced them to take up the work, but there are some facilities that we have to put in place to even aid these judges in doing their work. That's why there should be provision for stenographers in some civilized countries. Even here, some of us now make use of stenographers. If you go to some federal high courts, we make use of it. But interestingly, I've come across some judges who don't also like make use of those stenographers. You know, in some places, there should be provision for research assistance. We know the challenges we face as private lawyers in handling most of these cases. Now imagine a judge. You read everything like this petition now. You read everything line by line, word for word. You will take all the arguments. You will research thoroughly, because any mistake you make, Nigerians will come after you. You know, and that's why I still insist, no matter how you feel about what I'm saying, I still insist that going by the volatile nature, the reactions of Nigerians, if you want to witness, if there's any complaint about the proceedings, the lawyers are there, the litigants are there. They have right to. The litigants have right to appear in court whenever. Nobody will stop them from going to court. But how emotionally charged the country is at the moment, be rest assured, I can tell you that irrespective of the outcome of this case, one group must be happy, another group must be unhappy. Being happy and not being happy is not even the issue. But there will be this belief that there has been compromise. Make no mistakes about it. As I said earlier, the Nigerian judiciary is battling the challenge of corruption. But I can tell you here emphatically that we still have many upright judges. But before you start talking about corruption, ensure you do your work well. Election petition is no child's play. It's not about being an intelligent lawyer. It's very, very technical. But interestingly, even most lawyers handling election petitions are lawyers who are conversant with the tricks. So politicians normally hire them. I don't want to start mentioning their names, but we know household names in Nigeria who handle election petitions. And in fact, there was one I handled at the local government level. Let me not start claiming I know I'm an expert in the bigger petitions. Federal, I'm very conversant with local government election petitions. There are some applications you even have to file them by yourself. You have to raise them. The court will not wait for you. If you fail to draw the attention of the court to such applications, you will run into trouble. That will be the end of your petition. Unlike other civil cases, like in conventional civil cases, you can even amend your processes. But in election petition, you cannot amend your process in a fundamental manner. You cannot bring in new grounds when the time within which to file has elapsed. In other words, if there's an allegation that a candidate, we discovered that this candidate B ordinarily wouldn't have been qualified to vie for this particular office. But you discover that after the time within which you are to file a petition has elapsed, you cannot go and amend your petition. But in conventional civil suits, you can do that. It's in a class of its own. So the most important thing is for the lawyers know what to do. The litigants, they are there. Even members of the public, high-ranking members of the public, they will not be prevented from going there. So if there's any issue, they are the ones that will raise alarm. But if you shall allow Nigeria, don't be surprised, Nigerians may even come after some persons, even witnesses, to testify, because witnesses have to come here. We may not have a situation whereby we may start calling for witnesses to be masked. Because you may come to court and testify, and people will come after you that maybe that even your own party men may believe that you have been compromised, because these things also happen in election petition. Don't be surprised that you may go to court with your own witness. Your witness may be bought over. He may go there and start giving he may go there and become a hostile witness, what we call hostile witness. So allow the judges do their work in accordance with the law. I've given the Borno State case, Machina. To me, that judgment is we have the right as lawyers to criticize judgments. And as a lawyer, even as citizens, that judgment, despite the reasons given by the appellate court, most of us don't agree with that judgment. And we have the right to criticize that judgment.
All right, and in the first place, we've seen State Election Petitions Tribunal move to the FC to Abuja. The appeal court, they ordered the relocation of, I know of River State Election Petitions Tribunal and of recent Ebony State Elections Petitions Tribunal. There has been mixed reactions trailing the decision of the appeal court to relocate these petition tribunals. Reactions emanating mostly from Ebony State Election Petitions Tribunal moved to the FCT. What could be the reason for doing this? Do you have any reasons why this is happening?
It's obvious. Like last night, I listened to the news that was published by one of the media houses, renowned media outlets, one of the television stations. And the issue of security was raised. You know, threat to the life of members of the panel, pressure being mounted on them by, Okeke and Okafor. So it's normal. As I said earlier, it boils down to what I said earlier about streaming the proceedings live. Politically inclined cases are usually very, very controversial. Many things happen there. And I can tell you not that I have any evidence, but I can tell you that it's usually normal, or it will not be strange for judges not to be under pressure, while handling election petitions. If we should go down memory lane, there was a time that Ejembieko, now retired, the Honorable Justice Ejembieko, was a member of election petition here in Enugu. You know, he was many issues, many allegations came up then. But you know, he is known to be an upright judge, and he stood his ground when he was a member of the. That was after the 2003 election when Ugochukwu Agbala ran under Abga. I think yes, that was when he was a member of that election petition tribunal. So it's all about the pedigree of a judge. It's all about the pedigree of the members of the panel. But if you're talking about pressure, they definitely will be under pressure, even from the ruling party and the opposition. You know, there's a mistake most of us normally make, even about this issue of electoral malpractices. Whenever I talk about electoral malpractice, at times we tend to accord attention only to the ruling party. Even some of these some opposition members who want to claim to be sent, some of us who come here, we also indulge in electoral malpractices. Only that at times when it doesn't favor us, we will not start crying. I am not saying all, but most. That's the reality. So at times you see people who want to rig the election, maybe because the other person now overpowers them, they will not start crying. Because an average politician, we always want to have his way. So as I said earlier, it's because of pressure that they relocated all these tribunals to Abuja. Because you find the ruling party mounting pressure on them. You find the opposition mounting pressure on them. You find some persons threatening them. So the best thing is to relocate to Abuja, a place that is a bit safer. And even interestingly, if you relocate to Abuja, allegation may also start coming up that the ruling party may use Abuja influence to also influence things there. That's why we should take a look at the pedigree of the persons to man these tribunals. And most importantly, it's all about doing what is right in the eyes of God, not even the eyes of any man. That's the work of a judge is very difficult work, apart from these election cases. Because no matter what you do, I'm going to say some lawyers are to normally cause this problem. Once a case does not go in your favor, you start accusing the judge falsely. It is not good. Personally, as I speak, I've had reasons to disagree with many judgments that didn't go in my favor. But if I have reasons to believe that a judge may be compromised, we know the right thing to do. But some of us want to lose the case. The judge will be there to defend himself now. He will say, he has been settled. Of course, are some judges being settled by what has happened so far in Nigeria? The answer is yes. But not all judges. We still have upright judges. We still have judges who have nullified the elections conducted in this country by INEC. And now even making their work difficult. They are now being told to go to court. We now want the court to do magic. After having caused crisis in Nigeria, caused crisis here and there, you now push everything to the court for the court to do magic. The court will work in accordance with the provisions of the law. It's all about evidence. You have to prove your case. So it's not only about even saying that the election was rigged. You have to prove it. The judge will not do magic. They are not ghosts.
All right. Latest development here is a member of a particular political party approaching the tribunal to withdraw all the cases lodged by the party's candidates across the board. On what condition can a petition's tribunal be withdrawn from a court?
Anyway, there are necessary parties in an election petition. There are those that can file election petition, being a candidate in an election or the political party. You know, it comes down to this issue of or versus and. Now, if you look at the Electoral Act, it provides political party or the candidate. But in real life scenario, a candidate alone cannot file a petition. Or means either A can do it and B can do it. That's the meaning if you say or. If you say A or B, it means A can do it, B can do it. So on the face of the Electoral Act, a candidate simpliciter can file a petition without joining his political party. Likewise, a political party can file a petition to challenge the conduct of an election without joining his candidate. But in reality, going by judicial interpretations, it's not possible. Both of them must come together. Both of them must come together. Having done that, the law is that a party can also withdraw from petition. It is the party that has the right to file the petition that also has the right to withdraw petition. What I mean party in this regard now, I'm talking about both the individual. I'm using party in terms of expression of political party and the candidates. They are called parties in a petition. They have the right, and in doing that, they have to depose an affidavit that they are doing it willingly. 1, 2, there was no compromise before doing that. And I believe the issue behind the reason behind this innovation is what I told you earlier, that some persons approach the tribunal as an avenue for money making. You would think they are going there to fight for justice. They are going there. There's some persons, they do that, to get money from those that actually won the election. Now, having said that, the issue you raised is somehow controversial, and let's see how it goes. In the sense that a party is now approaching a court of law, saying that a petition filed should be withdrawn. But it is still sub judice. What I mean is still sub judice. That matter is still pending in court of law. The matter of who is the authentic chairman of that party is still pending in a court of law. So I think it would be wrong and premature for a tribunal to make any pronouncement withdrawing the petition filed when the legality of your existence as a chairman is being questioned. It's still in contention. So any attempt to do that would be supporting illegality. It will give rise to anarchy and a judicial crisis. So I don't see that flying until it is resolved by a court of competent jurisdiction. And if I'm right, which I believe I am, a party chairman so much can't even withdraw the petition filed by his political party. A party chairman is not the owner of a political party. You have the National Working Committee, you have the National Executive Committee. Just like during the conduct of party primaries, it is the National Executive Committee of a political party that has the right to determine how the party will conduct its primaries in accordance with the provisions of the Electoral Act. So you cannot just come out and say, I am the chairman of party JJJ, I am applying for the petitions filed by my party to be withdrawn. And now, even if you do that, even if you withdraw your petition, even if a political party withdraws its petition, what about the candidates? You cannot force the candidate to do that. Then an issue now arises. That issue is this: can a candidate alone survive? I think the answer I may give to that is this: if a candidate ab initio filed his process in the appropriate manner by joining his political party, and the political party now decides at the end of the day to withdraw, the petition still survives because the candidate did the right thing from the word go. And the withdrawal of the political party was not done with his consent. We've seen such scenario play out, especially a candidate has local standing to file a petition. I hope what I'm saying is not contradictory to what I said earlier with regard to, I still repeat, a candidate alone cannot file a petition. You must do that with your political party, alongside your political party. But if after filing alongside your political party, and your political party decides to withdraw, I think your petition still remains valid because you did the right thing from the word go. Except if you authorize the withdrawal by your political party. If your political party decides to withdraw from the petition, maybe in order to sabotage your own effort, I don't think it resonates with common sense and equity for the court to now defeat the petition on that ground. But most importantly, a party chairman single-handedly must be with the consent of the party as an establishment, going by the constitution of that particular party.
All right, apologies, we need to walk the thoughts here and go for a quick news break. When we get back, we'll continue the conversation and, of course, open up the phone lines. Good morning and welcome to Urban Media News Update in 94.5 seconds. My name is Adobe Imaji. The Enugu State government has sealed an ethanol producing factory in Chukwuozala, who happens to provide services following a complaint by Norme Autonomous Community and a Kano East local government area of the state over the pollution of their river, Nguna, with industrial and chemical waste. The police in Enugu State have confirmed the murder of a governorship aspirant of the Abga Rabba in Enugu State during the last general election, Don Ogbe. The leader of the Apex Yoruba Social Cultural Organization, Afenifere Ayo Adebanjo, has insisted that Nigeria currently has a president-elect, despite INEC declaring Bola Tinubu of the APC winner of the February 25th presidential election. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has accused the INEC of being partial. In sports, Golden Eagles forward Light Eke has said the team's target is to win this year's Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations in Algeria. And in entertainment, popular Nollywood actor Frederick Leonard has advised his colleagues in the movie industry, from cast to crew, to always use deodorant, mint or gum to avoid unpleasant body and mouth odor during movie production. And you're up to the minute in 94.5 seconds. My name is Adobe. A very good morning, and thank you for listening.
From the capital of the Southeast to the world, This is 94.5 Urban Radio. News break.
Why do we talk? We talk because transformation begins with a thought, and talks provokes thoughts, and talks inspire our consciousness. A new consciousness stimulates change in individuals and societies. Nigeria is not a geographical expanse of land spreading from the north to the south. Nigeria is the people that live in it. A nation is transformed only when its people are. So let's keep talking until we get it right. Join us every weekday for the Parliament, 9 a.m., exclusively on Urban Radio 94.5 FM.
Welcome back. It's 9:51, and we're still having a conversation on the 2023 polls and the election petitions right here on Urban Radio 94.5 FM. Of course, I just have my guest in the studio, Petition Daniel Ogbe in the studio. And we're to open up the phone lines, but before that, I'm going to ask you, Barrister Ogbe, do you see a scenario, or simply put, are we as a country getting to a point or a level where in the coming days, in the coming months, in the coming years, we wouldn't, go ahead and patronize in these election petition tribunals? When are we going to get it right and move past always ending up at the election petition tribunals and deliberating or interrogating the outcome of elections in the country?
Anyway, for that to be done, INEC and political stakeholders will shoulder a greater part of the responsibility. Because if on the face of it, many candidates in the political parties are comfortable with the outcome of the just concluded election, then the need for filing petitions to a great extent will not arise. Let me elucidate further. In every political contest, to a great extent, the political actors, they normally know the truth. Like, let me use myself as an example now. In the just concluded governorship election, obviously I did not win the election. That does not mean my party is wrong to have approached the tribunal. They have other grounds to do that. But for myself as an individual, for me as an individual, I cannot ordinarily go to tribunal now in Enugu to start praying that I be declared winner of an election I never won, except if I have a different agenda altogether. Now, it's a different ball game in a scenario whereby from the handwriting on the wall, I believe I won an election, and then the wrong thing was done. The temptation or the pressure or the urge, to approach a tribunal will be there, especially if I have grievances against INEC. And that's why if you look at the petitions filed by some persons, those petitions are very, very meritorious on the face of it, devoid of sentiment. So for us to have a decline in the number of petitions that are coming before the courts, INEC to a great extent, as a commission, has to live up to expectations. And then political actors, politicians should also try to play by the rules, whatever political offices, both sides. Because as I said earlier, as far as I'm concerned, some persons who cry foul at the end of any given election, if you look in critically into the activities, you will find out that they also perpetrated electoral practices, only that their adversary outweighed them. So politicians, those of us who are playing politics, should learn to do the right thing. If we start doing the right thing, with INEC doing the right thing, then the number of petitions we have will reduce. On the other hand, on the lighter note, they will say now, those that will lose out at the end of the day will be lawyers. Lawyers who are experts in the election. I'm telling you, they are making serious money now. Lawyers who are professional in election petition, I know most politicians are stupendously rich. Not like some of us who don't have a big money. They will tell you how much do you need. If you like, increase the security for cost to 10 million, 20 million naira. After how much did they buy the nomination funds? And Nigerians voted most of them. And tomorrow we start crying that we need a good society. That's why I've been asking of late, you that is listening to me, sit down, remove sentiment and emotion. Going by the way we have been voting in Nigeria, do you think most of us actually want good leaders? Do you think, answer yourself that question, do you think most of us, because I want to serve you as a president or as a governor, I claim I want to come and serve you, I will not pay 50 million naira to buy form to serve you. After paying 50 million naira, 30 million naira, not 1,000 naira. Oh. I know this one I'm calling is chicken chain to some people. I know. But for a normal Nigerian, I will pay you 50 million naira to come and serve you. After doing that, I will spend serious money again, running to millions of naira. But at the end of the day, maybe I may end up spending 500 million naira or 1 billion naira because I want to serve you. You will still come out and queue up and vote me. Maybe because you love the party I joined, or because I joined a party that has structure. So let even we, the Nigerian people, tell us the truth. They are ready to serve us. That's the question we answer on our own. So those that we lose out will be lawyers who are experts in the election petition. But in the final analysis, for us to have fewer election petitions, INEC should do the right thing. But why doing the right thing? Politicians, because I know politicians. That's why I'm crying against streaming this thing live, if the masses be involved. Even INEC, just a little story. INEC is like what happened to me. Okay, sorry, politicians is like what happened to me when I was the president of one association like that. We had to play a friendly match with another church, president of the youth fellowship of my church. While we are discussing the modalities, we said that don't call missionaries. They said no. In fact, they said we will not call missionaries. Our opponents told us not to call missionaries. I said no problem. My own people told me, they say, oh, but no, let us go and bring missionaries that will play for us. I said no, we'll do the right thing. Lo and behold, on the day of that match, my players, we are very, very bitter. They say, have you seen it? That this person is not a member of that church. They still calling the church is some players came from. So that's politicians, normal politicians, don't mind what most of us come here to say. They will always like even to manipulate INEC. I am not trying to hold brief INEC, but I can tell you, we should be cautioning both politicians and INEC. Because at times, even INEC we want to do the right thing. Politicians with so much man pressure on them, they will do, because of our desperation, they will do a whole lot of things, you know, to subvert due process. So politicians should start doing the right thing. And in doing that, we should remove the type of money politicians make from political offices. That is if Nigerian people, most of us actually like good leaders. Exactly. That will discourage people from, you know, as because if I should spend 1 billion naira to become a governor, that means I can make 10 billion or 20 billion naira in the office. And the Nigerian people who are crying every day that we don't have this and that, they are the ones that will still vote such people. And they will tell you the party you belong to does not have structure. So do we actually like good leaders?
Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
As I'm struggling with your line, I can't hear you clearly. Please do not call me back, okay? So we can have a clear conversation with you. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Nigel. All right. All right, all right. All right. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Your name and location. You're welcome. Go ahead. Thank you so much. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Your name and location. You're welcome, Mr. Ogbe. Go ahead.
Good morning. Good morning, sir.
All right. Hmm. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. We're doing a quick break and we'll get back to continue with the phone lines. Phone line 080-999-945, 080-943-945.
Here are easy ways to link your NIN
How
to
can I
your
spam
Airtel
so far?
number.
Can we pay
Just
more time?
dial star 121
How can I spam so far? Can we pay more time?
simply
No, but the truth
SMS your
must be
NIN
told.
to
You know, so,
121. You can also download the NINC app or visit
because election petition I borrow case for my
www.airtel.com.ng/NIN. You also get a
very, very
20,000
difficult
naira
to prove.
welcome bonus when you complete
I
the
don't want
link.
anyone unlawful exclusion. That's the easiest election petition. Just
And I support that thing in Atika
hey, I get bully the judges, my witnesses. I get bully people. Where? So yeah, the work of a judge between you and God. Number one, the Sean even man when they bribe him if you want to do the right thing. The same way they mounted pressure on INEC officials. That is the same way that they not mounting pressure on this. All right, it up easy to resist pressure and amount on them. And don't be surprised. Not only that, I tend to call attention only to the ruling party, but opposition. An average politician is desperate. An average politician wants to manipulate the system. During that time, so for us, they back when I say, actually, average Nigeria. Because referee, we address the issue. Every if it happens in Nigerian league, that's why having problems. At times, the officiating referee and amount of pressure on him now this match not a home ground that we must win. They're not home. And that's why our league is not progressing. They will not win also. Oh, okay, about Rangers, the Nimba was one Rangers in one kind goal. Which match not good? Which Rangers win? Yes, which so we have the orientation. We have to change our mindset as a people.
939 hash to take top up. Plus jollificate 100% awoof with smart cash. Where Airtel the power with the bar.
So funcha netebe mo chandi kafo anahame boge isacha kwam kwasiri ihe kem itori sa kwa hirin neti nyomere vida chiri vida ebuno ke etufu ne chiri vida vida oh vida on the north vida on the beach vida sineta no merie vida oh vida on the north vida on the beach vida sineta no merie vida oh vida on the north vida on the beach vida sineta no merie
Viva detergent, nchanto de ma, sitanaka aspira.
population and housing census. From May 3rd to May 7th, 2023, National Population Commission (NPC) will count all Nigerians to generate up-to-date data wey go dey reliable and sustainable. Na digital census e go be because dem go use personal digital assistant for demarcation, capturing, collation, transmission of results. Everything go be digital. Dem go count everybody, whether you dey for your house or you dey for journey, and dem no go count one person two times. E go help government form better policy, do correct national planning for ogbonge development, for security wey get a cover. Make una tanda gidigba cooperate with the census officials when dem come, because na una civic responsibility. Na National Population Commission (NPC) organize the 2023 Population and Housing Census for Nigeria. May 3rd to 7th May. Census 2023, everything will be digital. You count allow them count you.
This world is not my home, I'm just a passing through.
In loving memories of mother and daughter, a family of late Michael Miniru Anyaboso of Amandim Olo in Eziagu local government area of Enugu State, Nigeria, invites you to the burial ceremonies of their wife and mother and their daughter and sister, Mama Catherine Nkeji Agatha Anyaboso and late Chinwe Agnes Anyaboso. Burial rites and interment of late Chinwe Agnes Anyaboso will hold on April 27th. 2023 at late Michael Miniru Anyaboso's compound, time 10 a.m. prompt. While the burial rites and interment of late Mama Catherine Nkeji Agatha Anyaboso will hold on April 29th, 2023 at the late Michael Miniru Anyaboso's compound, time 10 a.m. prompt. May their gentle souls rest in peace. Amen. Announcers Kingsley Oke Anyaboso and Johnny E. Anyaboso for the family.
What would you do if I told you that there is one single place where you can find, hire, and even review a wide range of professional services? Is that possible? Yes, it is. WorkJJ.com is the place. Download the WorkJJ app today from the Apple Store as well as from the Google Play Store and get connected to qualified professional service providers close to your location. From customer safety to ease of use, WorkJJ.com has it all, right from the comfort of your homes. Be it laundry services, plumbing services, carpentry services, electrical works, delivery services, automobile repairs, painting services, and so much more. The WorkJJ app is available on the Apple Store and the Google Play Store. Visit www.workjj.com, or you can also come to number 51 Nza Street, Independence Layout, Enugu. We are also available in multiple big cities nationwide. WorkJJ.com. We've got you covered.
Why do we talk? We talk because transformation begins with a thought, and talks provokes thoughts, and talks inspire our consciousness. A new consciousness stimulates change in individuals and societies. Nigeria is not a geographical expanse of land spreading from the north to the south. Nigeria is the people that live in it. A nation is transformed only when its people are. So let's keep talking until we get it right. Join us every weekday for the Parliament, 9 a.m., exclusively on Urban Radio 94.5 FM.
Minutes gone past 10 o'clock. Welcome back to the Urban Parliament. Still getting in your thoughts and reactions this morning to the conversation. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Morning, what's your name and location? You're welcome, Victor. Go ahead. So what's your question? What's your question or contribution? Hmm. Okay. All right. We'll definitely answer that question. Hello. Good morning. Hello. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, Lady Rose. You're welcome.
Good morning.
All right. All right. All right. Thank you so much, Lady Rose. Hello. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. What's your name? Welcome, Jeffrey. Alright, super. Hello. Typical time 09128 945 945. Hello, good morning. Good morning, what's your name? You're welcome. Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you so much, Ogbe. Hello, good morning. Good morning. My name is Petition. You're welcome, Christy. Go ahead. Hello. All right. All right. Hello. Good morning. Morning. What's your name? Welcome, Anthony. Go ahead.
Good morning.
All right. Hello. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. You're welcome, Justice. Can you be a lot audible? Yes, I can hear you now. Go ahead. Okay. All right. All right. Hello. Good morning. Hello. All right. Please let me call remember to turn on the volume on your radio set. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. You're welcome. You're welcome. Go ahead. Thank you so much. Hello, good morning. Good morning. What's your name? Okay, you go ahead. All right. All right. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. All right. So we need to get back to our guest this morning. I'm very excited. Back to you. Let's take us to the actual syllabus of the college in 3 minutes.
Many issues to be addressed. Many issues. Many issues. Anyway, with regard to the question raised by KC as it concerns Osun election, you know, it boils down to the manner in which election petitions are conducted. Law is all about the evidence. Now, if you remember, just the way we conducted the last election, apart from use of beavers, you know, in establishing those that are entitled to vote, upon being verified, you are also, the voters register will be presented, and the INEC official will also tick. In other words, if you are coming to prove allegation of voting, ideally, apart from the beavers, you should also present, if you are talking about evidence, you should also present, what's it called, the voters register that was used in that particular point to ensure the whole thing tallies. So if there's any discrepancy, a question will also be asked. The issue of corrupt practice will also come up. How come beavers are accredited only 10 persons, but in your voters register, you have 15 persons? That means you did something funny. Who tampered with it? So it becomes a relevant document to be used. That's why some persons, unfortunately, we say go to court. Why they say go to court is that they know that not necessarily that they are trying to impute corruption on the part of the bench. No. They know that it's not only about just going to court, but you have to prove your case as required by law. You know, so that's why, as I say, go to, so that's what I believe is behind what happened in Osun State. Then, everybody thought about INEC being independent. You know, the system of appointing INEC officials, that it has to be transparent. The truth is this: just like the judiciary, if you go through our laws, relevant laws, you find out that ideally any judge who wants to be independent will be independent. Yet, going by certain unfortunate developments that have taken place in time past, some judges, despite the opportunity given to them by the constitution and even in reality to be independent in the execution of their duties, yet there are times they have been influenced. What am I trying to say? It's all about our system. Even if the appointment of INEC officials should be devoid of much control by the executive, these people are Nigerians. This is an opportunity for us to take a look at ourselves as Nigerian people, the way our world view, the way we view life. Because some of us complain, interestingly, are complaining because what is playing now does not favor us at the moment. Not that we actually yearn for a good society, not sincerity. So I'm sorry to say that the Nigerian will always be a Nigerian. If you're a good Nigerian, you always be a good Nigerian. But there's a point I'm trying to make. Our environment we have to work on ourselves as a people. Because if you like, just like one of those who suggested that political parties should come together to appoint those that will conduct the elections, another crisis will even come up, because some parties will influence other political parties to join them, and they may end up appointing those that ordinarily should not have any business conducting the election. For instance, if you should throw it open to political parties, the ruling party may use money to influence some other lesser political parties, to buy them over, just like what you normally witness during the elections of some candidate parties coming together to endorse a particular candidate of a given political party. So it will still not solve the problem to a great extent. Then I would like to take a look at the issue that was raised by Dr. Chode, about what obtains in Kenya. I'm not trying to make excuses, but one thing you should understand is this: I don't think Kenya is as polarized as Nigeria at the moment. In Nigeria, we have many ethnic groups, definitely, and not only that, there is this mutual suspicion. The environment is already charged. Okay, take a look at the issue that was raised by by Ikechukwu about subjudice, those commenting on matters pending in court. He was protesting just because a candidate, or I think a candidate, was allegedly raising concerns about the matter pending in court, and another person is now protesting. Then imagine what will happen when the proceedings of the election petition, the various petitions, they are streamed live. They are anarchy in this country, because people will go to social media, because Nigeria is greatly polarized at the moment. So I appreciate the sincerity. Ordinarily, it would have been better to stream it live, but it will give rise to numerous contemptuous acts on the part of the citizenry. And believe me, apart from violence, the judges will even their hands will become tied, because if you do this, you'll be in trouble. If you do this, you'll be in trouble. So they will not be allowed to handle their matter in a dispassionate manner. Then, Dick Nwankwo also raised the issue of the number of petitions being a sign that INEC did not do well. I think there's another dimension to that issue. If you take a look at some of the petitions, some of the petitions are not even talking about the conduct of the election. Some technical issues were raised. There are some petitions alleging that those who won the election, that they're actually not members of their political parties. Like what you are witnessing here in Enugu, many of the allegations coming up are saying that so-and-so person who won actually wasn't even a member of a political party at the time he won. So some technical issues of law are being raised. So it's not only about the conduct of the elections, but I'm saying that so-and-so person wasn't qualified in the first instance to run. So it's not only that. That's why I have, like here in Enugu, for instance, most of the petitions, the issue of the conduct of election, these state national assembly, house assemblies, they are not talking about the conduct itself, but technical issues on whether you are qualified in the first instance to run for this office or not. Then the third part about the INEC is like a referee. I use the Nigerian league. It's about the Nigerian system. Even here in Nigeria, at times, if you are playing home match, they will tell that the referee, we must win, this is our home. Is that what's supposed to be the case? The answer is no. And that's why many people don't like Nigerian league. Because what is affecting Nigerian league is also affecting Nigerian politics and the Nigerian system. That no matter who you appoint to be the umpire, the referee, you will see pressure here and there, even the fans, supporters, everybody, that we must win, we extend the time that we must win. It's a Nigerian problem. We have a problem. And I think, to a great extent, we are getting the leaders we desire. Oh, sorry, we deserve. We may run away from this obvious truth, just like the issue Madam Odazir about those that are patriotic. How can we have those that are patriotic, even when the masses who are crying, the masses who cry for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, in this election, most of us voted political parties. They threw away decorum to the wind because of emotion. They said people failed to look at, say for a place like Anambra, look at Anambra State, the House of Assembly makeup. You have ABGA members, you have Labour, you have PDP, you have YPP, you have even APC, that you don't like, hearing the word APC here. If I'm right, these parties, why? People were voted based on their pedigree. But in some other parts of Nigeria, we are more interested in political parties. So the day we are ready, the Nigerian people who are crying every day and night are ready for good leaders. We will make efforts to throw up good leaders. So the ball is in the court of Nigerians. Because of time constraints, many issues were raised. Even the issue of Anthony, independent candidate. I think I addressed that issue earlier. That's why a political party alone cannot file a petition, just like a candidate. But if both parties come together and file, and at the end of the day, the parties now want to withdraw in order to frustrate the other party, I don't think it will fly. And in addressing that, I raised the issue of to tell it that at times all will be construed to read and in judicial interpretation, especially with those looking at that section 259 on FCT, and there's a way judicial interpretations normally handled. Justice talked about, anyway, I think.
All right,
time.
so we've really spoken about a couple of them, but more clarity. I really appreciate it.
Most grateful.
All right, and thank you as well to the parliamentarians that joined us this morning on the parliament. If you were to join us next time, that's